Welcome back, family. Welcome back, family. Welcome to the Reiki, healing, hope, community, a place to heal, relax, be yourself, and be surrounded by those who want to see blossom and or bloom. I am Jessica, a Reiki master and intuitive. And today we have a special healing session. We are going to be balancing the feminine and the masculine. So sit back, relax, and get all nice and comfy. If you are new to the channel, subscribe to your girl. Let her know she is loved. I'm so excited to get started with this. I hope you enjoyed Dream Week. So we're going to continue on this very magical, relaxing kind of theme and really go in to that balancing of the masculine and the feminine energy. So if you're new as well, we say a prayer. It is not a religious prayer, just a prayer to connect us in community to our individual healing experience. And because consent always matters, do I have your permission to say a prayer? Okay, let's do it. Just blessing you here. Dear Mother, Father, God, and all for the highest vibrational good only, we connect to the Reiki Masters, the Ascended Masters, Master Jesus, Master Buddha, Master Kutumi, Yamonja, Oshun, Mawu, and all the Taras. Please connect us to our ancestors, archangels, lineage, spirit guides, spirit animals, and all for our highest vibrational good only, rooting us down in our individual healing experience and bringing us forth as a community. I say all of this in the name of I Am. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. I hope you really enjoy our prayer. The purpose of the prayer is just to kind of get you in this very relaxed and connected state with divine energy, universe, source. It is not to be religious. It is not to replace how you feel when it comes to religion. It is just to connect in a spiritual path via our community. And that's always so wonderful and so magical. As a person who has always been spiritual her whole life, even when I was going to different kind of religious gatherings, I always thought like, wow, it is so magical, when I was in like a church and then in a mosque and then in a temple, and I would be in all of these places and I could see, with my eyes, and I could feel in my heart the reverence that each person has in their lineage. And I used to think, when I was really young, like, well, what is the right answer? Because they all seem right, and then people are like, well, there's only one right answer. And I had this professor in undergrad in a mysticism class, and he had said, you know what, everybody is so worried about having the right answer. Instead of feeling like you have the right answer, just be the best you that you are. If you were born something and you want to stay something, just be the best that, or just be the best you. And from that moment, I knew that my spiritual journey, which I love so much, which I was doing so unconsciously, was actually where I needed to be. And that discovering community, which is so important, was going to happen naturally. So that was officially a tangent, but it really helps in balancing out both the feminine and the masculine side of us, of our being, of our essence. And the reason why I say that is because sometimes the masculine side can be very assertive And then if it's too much, it can be aggressive, or it can be insecure, or it can be irrational. But when it's well balanced, it's very assertive. It has strong boundaries. In masculine and feminine, it's not necessarily a gendered thing in the way that we think of like a person being masculine, like a man or a woman. It's more of these divine energies that exist in all of us. Sometimes we have more of one than the other, and it really doesn't matter what your gender is. You know, you can be a very macho guy and just naturally have a lot of feminine energy. You love nurturing, you love preparing and cooking and things like that, and you can still be a macho guy. It's just the energy that you have. And well, when it comes to the feminine side, balancing our femininity, you know, at the best, it is nurturing, it is cultivating, it is the growing. So think about it. It's I guess I'll use an opposite answer, which is a woman can have very masculine energy. She can be very assertive. She can say what she wants. She can be straightforward. She can be kind of no nonsense. She could, or how about be simple? She could be the provider, you know? And so it really doesn't matter. And you can have a combination of different mixtures of all of those things. So we're going to balance all of that out. Now remember, it is still ASMR August, and that is so special. So put your requests in. So chit chat over. Take another breath. Bringing my hand to the top of the head. Breathing in and out. Universal energy, love, God, source, bringing the highest amount of energy down through the crown, filling it through the throat, bringing it past the sacral, all the way down to the center of the earth. Okay. I'm going to bring this energy down your limbs, your arms. Just relax. And I'm feeling for a balance here. A balance of all of those wonderful properties that we learned from the feminine and the masculine. And even that lovely, lovely mixture of the two. That's probably the best thing of all, that mixture of the two. So I'm just going to smooth it down your arms. So go ahead and just put your arms out. I'm just going to smooth it down your arms. I just want you to feel, this is going to feel like a little tingly from your shoulder, upper, lower, the side, as I just pull through the crown of your head, back of your head. Lovely, lovely people, family, friends. Get your out the way. So just checking in. Seeing what this feels like. Okay. I'm actually feeling like there's a little bit of resistance to the feminine, a little bit more free flowing with the balance of the masculine. And so when the masculine is balanced, like I said before, you know, it is assertive, it is correct boundaries, it is all that lovely stuff, you know, all of that stuff that we can all learn from. When the feminine is not balanced, it feels like a lack of self-love. It feels like a lack of nurturing. Really, that's what it is, a lack of nurturing. And I think what's happening here is with a lot of Leo energy and Leo sun sign, we can have a boost to the masculine because there's a lot of beautiful masculine qualities in Leo. That is the generosity, that is the assertiveness, that is the leader energy. And so we're getting kind of like this boost. But if you are not balanced in your feminine aspect, if you are not balanced in that nurturing, in that loving, in that understanding, in that deep work, as we are coming out of the sun sign of Cancer, then that can make you feel very anxious. It's probably sleeping problems. It can make you feel highly insecure. And once that happens, if you do not balance the feminine side, you're going to over utilize the masculine side and throw it out of balance. So it's fine. And we're going to go here, right to that feminine side. And I want you to see something. I want you to see that you are enough. But more importantly, the message that I'm getting is that you are so powerful. Let me start right there. Let me let you know there. You are so powerful that the only person in this, on this planet that can prevent you or prevent any goal that you want from happening is you. And you may have been stuck in this perspective that, oh, my family, my friends, some random person, the people I work with, some unforeseen circumstance, if I'm not perfect or if I'm not enough in some way, that this thing is going to come in and just be in full control of your life. Like, no matter how hard you work, there's something that might just be like, oh, I'm going to, it can derail me. And that is an imbalance with feminine energy, because there's nothing that can derail you except for yourself. So what happens in those situations is that you create a perpetual state of actually making that come true. And you're so strong that in such a powerful manifester that it's just you doing it. So I say all that to say that you have to let go and understand that you're the only one in your way. And once you get out of your way, you can really focus on putting in that work and putting in the discipline for whatever it is you want, like being able to honestly enjoy and go through the experience. So going over here to that feminine side, I'm just going to place my hands on your shoulders, and you're going to just feel a balance of energy rocking back and forth, kind of in the sign of the infinity, balancing out. And we can borrow from each other. We can borrow the good masculine intention in order to remind us of the good feminine intention. Same vice versa. Good feminine intention can remind us of the good masculine intention. Again, not gendered in that, male and female and stuff like that, but more of a balance. And some people have more of something, which is perfect for them, but it just needs to be in tune with yourself. And I think to explain when someone has more of a balance of one thing and it's not in balance, what I mean by that is that when someone is in balance with their masculine or their feminine, they're kind of leaning towards aggression, or they're leaning towards self-loathing or things like that. But when someone just naturally has more feminine energy, more masculine energy, that's just their middle balance. So you'll meet people who are very much so, kind of like I said, manly man or feminine woman, and she might have much more masculine energy in her, just because that's what's natural to her, and she needs to balance that. And that masculine energy might come off as her being like the boss, or her being very assertive, and then she has her feminine qualities. Maybe she's like really girly girl or something like that, but more of these internal things, and that is the correct balance. It doesn't mean it's out of order. It would only be out of order if something was happening where the assertion turned into aggression or things like that. Same for a man. He can have more masculine energy or more feminine energy, and less of a masculine energy, maybe a nurturer, a good listener, okay, just qualities that really the femininity brings out, and feel very much so like a manly man. And then those who are not, in that kind of binary of gender who flow back and forth or flow more to the one side, who don't necessarily feel like, oh, it feels right saying man or feels right saying woman, that there is a balance there as well as a free-flowing balance too. So always just being in that energy and being able to feel like you're bringing out the best qualities. So balance. Okay. Breathing. Okay. Just let it go. Lovely. Okay. Just working internally here, moving that energy around, just letting it circulate, balancing from the front and from the back. Okay, wonderful. Okay, family. So I'm going to actually clear you out. What I want you to continue to do here is I want you to just continue to relax, lie flat on your back. Just continue to breathe. Continue to breathe in this energy, in this essence, in this relaxation, and just continue to let the work happen. Instead of instantly getting up or something like that, just continue to let the work happen until you intuitively feel like it's enough. Sealing you with the sign of the infinity and allowing that balance. Smoothing over your aura. Good job. And sealing it with a kiss. We start out our practice with a prayer. It is not a religious prayer, just a prayer to connect us in community, and because consent matters, do I have your permission to say a prayer? Okay, let's get into it. Dear Mother, Father, God, and all for the highest vibrational good, please connect us to the Reiki Masters, the Ascended Masters, Master Jesus, Master Buddha, Master Kutumi, Yamonja, Oshun, Mawu, and all the Taurus. Please connect us to the Archangel, Spirit Guide, Spirit Animals in our lineage, and all for our highest vibrational good only, rooting us down in our individual healing experience and bringing us forth as a community. I say all of this in the name of I Am. Ashe. 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 Self-care. How we treat ourselves is so important. And I've heard other channels. I'm going to get some smoke clearing supplies out. I'm going to get a little crystal. But I've heard other channels doing ASMR mostly talk about how they don't like political topics for their channel. It's a space for them to, get away from what's going on in the world. And that actually is a cop-out. I'm sorry, I'm just going to say what it is. How we approach a conversation, and I promise you this ties into self-care, but how we approach a conversation really is about how we're able to look at these healing things that we're learning in our self-care practice and apply it to the practical world. And you can't separate yourself from what's going on in the practical world. You may not want to consume media 24/7 because you get tired, that's fine. But I think a lot of the issue of not understanding and people not being able to connect or fully understand why people are protesting or the injustice that have happened to numerous groups in the history of the U.S. is because they're choosing, and they have the privilege to, separate themselves from what's going on politically and kind of live in this fantasy world. Believe me, I just said it before, I am a Black woman, a gay one at that, and I've been in many healing spaces where when we get to the point to talk about okay, we're learning all this self-care, how can we bring this to systemic work? How can we heal as a community in a whole? And so many people did not even know how to address this because they did not do the work, or they just weren't familiar and they felt very intimidated by the topic. And to that I will say, it's okay. Just work on it a little bit each day, finding out a little bit more information, and know that sometimes you got to put in the hard work of learning in order to be able to reap the benefit. If you truly, truly, truly believe in a world where there is little violence and that people are equitable and all of these things, then that means putting in the work. Just putting in that work. Speaking for myself, where would I be if people, both those who have been enslaved in the U.S. history did not make a choice to run or rebel, and those abolitionists who wanted to help, where would I be? So I don't think that a person cannot, exercise their right to vote or take action and what it is they feel like they're being called to, because I think we have to protect each other, and this is one way to do it. And of course that starts with the self-work. And it's so funny that the younger an audience, the more people are like, heck yeah, they're really good at balancing, like working on themselves and being there for others. And it's just like us, when we start to get older, we're like, oh my gosh, I got all this stuff going on anyway. But in this self-care and this self-healing practice, it is so important to start from the self, to anchor in your heart and to anchor in how you are taking care of yourself. So let me ask you, how are you doing? What has been your self-care practice? Do you like to listen to music sometimes? You like to listen to rain? Anything you like special? Sometimes I like to listen to like meditation apps and things like that. What do you like? And also, go ahead and share your comments about what we're discussing. I love that this is a community and we can talk about these things in a safe space. And I think a lot of people are intimidated to talk about various things because they don't feel like they're in a safe space. So know that you're in a safe space, and this is a place where we're coming together so that we all can have this genuine self-care, can feel secure, and just be able to flourish, blossom in or bloom in and or blooming. I'm over here trying to light this Palo Santo. Where's my cinnamon? Because I did say I wanted to whip out some cinnamon. So just breathe that in there. Okay. Clearing and cleansing you and letting you move forward in your path and removing and releasing fear. With this Mars and upcoming Mercury retrograde, it has a lot to do with hidden hurt, hidden trauma, fear, a lot of this internal work, and it's about time to just release it. No more irrational fear, no more need to hold on to things that no longer serve you and serve us as humanity. Coming together as one people, honestly, for the right reasons. So I'm just going to give you a nice little blessing because I want you to feel your energy balanced, but I also want you to feel empowered. I don't want you to feel like it's okay to remain silent. I want you to feel like your voice really counts, and that even if you're afraid or even if you feel like you don't know, that you still feel that strength behind speaking up, okay? Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Feeling the energy travel from your crown all the way down. Letting it seep over your limbs, front body, back body. And just release and relax. Release and relax. Dear Mother, Father, God, and all for the highest vibration of good. Please send them the greatest amount of blessings, the greatest amount of strength, the greatest amount of understanding, the greatest amount of generosity, as well as the greatest amount of abundance coming their way, that they are surrounded by the beauty and the passions that are so important to them. I say all this. Okay. How are you feeling? I like to keep checking in, because I think it's so important. You know, sometimes we start something in a different wavelength, and then we go to another wavelength. I know that's definitely me. Look, I try to take it easy most of the time in my life. I try to have a very, calm personality. There's only a few things that can get me out of pocket, and one of those things is social justice. And I think it is so fitting with the climate today and just all that is going on, that especially me, this is me calling myself out. If I have a platform, regardless of if it's, energy healing, that we use this space so that we come into a deeper understanding, and that people know that they can take an action, whether that is moving forward and learning more about social justice work, and or, registering and putting in their application for their mail-in vote. There's actions you can take on various levels, but it's so important. And the lesson behind it is, I was raised in a sect of Christianity that was very apolitical. So it took me a long, long time to understand the value of having that right. And I think, kind of like what I said before, just being a person of color, it's very opposite of who we are, because we have fought so hard for the right to vote, or for the right for equity, that to give that up kind of doesn't make sense. But I didn't know about that until I grew up and I started to learn about things, and how does the government work on a local level, and how does that, just kind of this idea that people only vote for the president, they don't really vote on their local level, or that you could be a part of what's going on. So every year I'm usually an election officer. Shameless plug. But this year, because of COVID, I was like, okay, well, let me get my officering off done in our community, and let me know how you feel. What's coming up for you? I want this really to be an empowerment session, that we deserve so much more. We're going to make these right choices to surround ourselves, or to become those leaders. So many of you have leadership energy behind you, and I think that you should really kind of collect that and move forward in your journey. You don't know, you can run for local office. Hello. Keep breathing here. Relax. Let go. Relax. And let go. Before we leave each other, I want to do this thing together, okay? I want you to just sit, or if you're lying down, that's fine too. And I want you to allow your shoulders to melt away from your ears. And I want you to sit in confidence. I want you to feel this energy rising from your root chakra all the way up to your crown and blossoming out. Opening your crown up to receive this loving energy from God, universe, source, or whatever it is you call and you believe that's your business. And feel that energy just rushing in. Feel the knowledge, feel the empowerment, feel the strength. Now I want you to see the power in your hands. You don't have to look at your hands if you don't want to, but just feel it. The power in your throat, the power in your body. Know that your body is useful, that you can make any life that you want, and more than that, you can be an inspiration to others. So whenever we're talking about blossoming and blooming, it's because making yourself as big as possible and as beautiful as possible and putting yourself out there is so important, and doing it in a dynamic way is so important. Take care of yourself, take care of others, and take care of this planet. It's the important things that we do. So in our self-care practice here, we're taking care of ourselves. When we go out and we exercise our right to vote and collect and be in community with others, we are taking care of others. And the choices that we make and how we consume and what we do is how we take care of the planet. You don't have to be perfect. You can just try a little bit each day. Try a little bit each day. I'm trying to pressure myself a little bit more each day to do more things that are environmentally conscious and to lower my carbon footprint. I'm not perfect, but I try to challenge and call myself out and just keep it moving. Keep it moving and trying. So I'm right there with you. I'm right there in the trenches with you. Okay, final breath. Well, family, I hope you enjoyed this check-in. I know I just really wanted to check in with us and see how everything was going, especially how the world is. We don't live in a bubble. You know, we can use what we're learning here in the healing sessions to apply it to real life. That is completely fine. And your voice matters, and I want you to know that and to feel empowered so you don't feel like you have to escape into an alternate reality. That, yes, you can take mental breaks, but your voice matters and we need to hear it. And that's the most important part. So our initiative for this month is to choose one goal. Well, that's two. Choose one goal and make it happen. No matter what, no matter how tired, no matter how fatigued, no matter how many obstacles, we're going to make it happen. And we're going to be practical too. You know, sometimes making it happen means we need to take a break and strategize. Or, you know, we just need to kind of get through it and get to the other side. Special shout out to the patrons. I so deeply appreciate you contributing and giving all that love to me and sending that love back to you as well. And if you want to join our Patreon community, the link is in the description box, but let's go ahead and get started. So we start our session off with a prayer. It is not a religious prayer, just a prayer to connect us with community and our individual healing experiences. And because consent matters, do I have your permission to say a prayer? Okay, baby boy, baby girl, they there. Let's do it. Dear Mother, Father, God, and all for the highest vibrational good, connect us to the Reiki Masters, the Ascended Masters, Master Jesus, Master Buddha, Master Kutumi, Yamonja, Oshun, Mawu, and all the Taras. Please connect us to the Archangel, Spirit Guides, Spirit Animals in our lineage, and all for our highest vibrational good only, rooting us down in our individual healing experience and bringing us forth as a community. I say all of this in the name of I Am. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. I'm so excited, y'all, to talk about this. Okay, so this in a nutshell. Don't try to control anything outside of yourself. Only control what you can do. And when you control and really take responsibility and accountability for what you can do, boom, that's how you make it happen. And with these goals that you have, that is the only way to do it. There's going to be a lot of uncertainty, especially when you're striving towards something that you have never done before, you've never seen done before. Okay, maybe you don't have access to it, and that is normal. But during uncertainty, sometimes we can beat ourselves up. We can have these unrealistic expectations of what we think we should be doing or how we should be approaching it, and that just messes up the energy. So what I'm saying is that comes from this idea that we need to look outside of ourselves, that the answer is somewhere that cannot be found within. The answer is us living a reactionary life rather than a proactive life. And that is just not the case. You have to connect in with your own sense of power, your own sense of control. So let's explore that a little bit today. So as I speak, I just want your chakras to be aligned and balanced, for there to be an opening and for there to be a freedom within yourself that you're like, I can do this. I can do anything that I'm setting my mind to, specifically in nonstop, can't stop, won't stop November, okay? Specifically during that time, I can do whatever. I can make this really beautiful thing happen, and understanding that obstacles and resilience is a part of the process. Believe me, when you get through something amazing, especially when you have to be resilient, when you get on the other side, you look back and you tell the story for years. I told a story last week about my experience of having to be a caretaker, my experience of having to be in a very uncomfortable situation of just kind of being taken advantage of. And my lesson from that is that I never ever let somebody do that again. And even when I think just a glimmer, before I had like a little bit of naiveness, now if there's a glimmer, I'd be like, nope, get out my face. Get out my face. I don't play that game. And also in that lesson, I learned how to advocate for myself, which is something I did not know before. I always mentally thought like, oh, this is what makes sense. But when push came to shove, I would not advocate for myself. So I'm saying that I learned that lesson, that very hard, tough lesson, to help me to remember the next time it came up, we not playing no games. This ain't no joke. We are going to make this happen. I'm speaking up for myself. I'm speaking up for the things that I need. And that was a part of fortifying me, making me stronger. So I'm just sending that message out so that you understand that what you do on the inside matters. It builds this world. It builds this environment that you can do whatever. Like even, the concept of reskilling, like maybe you have a certain skill and you want to change and have another skill to leverage in career or something like that. Why can't you do it? Oh, it's going to require me to learn something that I don't know. We'll do it. It's going to require hours. Be realistic, come up with a plan and make the time. It's tough. Anything that is worthwhile typically is tough. But I want you to think about it from this perspective. If your November goal is a goal that is a very big goal, very, very big goal, I want you to imagine how putting yourself in an uncomfortable situation of growth in a year from now, if you were where you needed to be based off of this goal, how would you look back at yourself and thank yourself? What would you say? Wow, that was so amazing that I did that. Oh my gosh, I didn't even know. I didn't even think about it. Now I'm so glad. I could have easily chosen not to do it and been in the same place, but I chose to do it. And now I feel like I'm blessed abundantly with a new opportunity in a new way. You have to start thinking of it from it like that. You have to start thinking about it from that perspective, that you are opening doors through your persistence, through your resilience, through your ability to navigate the obstacles that are coming up around you. Yes, and more yes. Why can't you do it? There's no reason why you couldn't do it. You've got it. And I think there's some practicality around it too. Let it be something you can do. Anything where it's like, I want to learn how to do something, you probably can do it. Anything that is like really out there, you might need more time, like you might need more than a month, but you can still do it and you can still make it happen. You can still have that happen within your life, but have a plan. Sit down and just really think it through. This is what I want. This is how I think I'm going to get it. This is what I need. And then you have to follow through and stick with it. I think tons of people come up with perfect plans. I mean, like perfect plans, myself included. Perfect plans. And then if you aren't consistent with it to the duration that it needs to be, then it's pointless. It's a pointless plan. It's just like when you look at the fitness programs and people are like, oh, I want to, buff up and get muscles or something like that. And then you get a plan, or there's numerous plans, free plans you pay for. And if you don't work out the muscle, the plan is pointless no matter how good it is. It's pointless. The true effort, the true work, the true value comes in, doing a little bit each day towards what it is that's important to you. And just taking those incremental steps and not being afraid to do so. That is all about that power that is within you. And you know what? That's super strength too. to know that you are so divinely connected, to know that you have such strong strength, that's redundant, such powerful leverage within you to move energetic mountains, that there's this well of all of this within you. And because you have that within yourself, you have to pay respect to yourself by connecting with that energy and saying, like, I'm not going to let you down. You got to be at the point where you're not worried about letting anyone down except for yourself. I'm not going to let you down. I'm not going to let you down. Even if you have to say it to yourself in the mirror over and over again, I'm not going to let you down. I'm not going to let you down. I'm going to show up for you, and I'm going to show out. I'm going to show up and I'm going to show out, and I'm not going to be afraid. And even if you are afraid, that's okay. I'm going to learn. I'm going to embrace the opportunity, even if it's uncomfortable. And a lot of times, things that are good for us and that are new are uncomfortable, so we think it's negative. But that's not that at all. It just means the older we get, the more we don't, the less we want to try. That's all that means. It doesn't mean that there's something necessarily wrong, especially when you know it's something good and you're just like, oh, I just don't feel like doing it. I don't feel like it is probably your biggest enemy. Bigger than any person enemy that you could have. I don't feel like doing it. Well, it don't matter what you feel like. You got to get up and do it. You got to make it happen. You got to have consistency, because where there is consistency in your life, that is where wealth, health, abundance grows. If you are able to create consistency, especially when things are not consistent, that is the perfect recipe for success, because others then lean on you for that space, for that energy, for that collective experience, and it becomes something very, very powerful, something that you can use in your toolbox, something that you have at all times, that you're like, yes, I got this. Wow, I can't believe I did it. Now, I want you to take a couple more moments here, and I really, really want it to sink in. I want you to look 2 years out, and you made the choice and you put in the work, and 2 years from now, you're at a totally different space, a better space than you were the year before. How do you look at yourself and look at this moment right now where you're putting in effort? What do you say to yourself? Hopefully, and I'm trying to set you up so that it's like, thank you for showing up for me. I appreciate it. I am so grateful. It is so magical that this is happening. And yes, I want to embrace it each and every day, each and every day, each and every day, and connect with that energy in your spirit, in your heart, in the collective experience. Connect with those around you. You never know what your network and your social networks are, both in person, on the phone and online. You never know. There could be connections anywhere. Never be afraid to ask for help from two places: your networks and your ancestors, i.e. your spirit guides, your angels, all of your energetic helpers. Ask for help there, in those two places. Good to go. There's nothing you can't do, asking for help from universe, source, God, of course, too. Whatever it is you call it, that's your business. Yeah, you can't go wrong with that. You can't go wrong with that kind of energy right there. That is how you win, okay? I should title this How to Win. How to win at life, not the game. But real life. And you got this. Now, I want you to look back in your past. Look at a decision you make. It could be big decisions like, I decided to go to college, I went to college, or I decided to make this move, or I decided to invite this person into my life, or I decided to pick up this hobby or craft or something. And think about a time, maybe 5 years ago, 10 years ago, where you were a novice, you were very new at it, and how building into that has built who you are today. And just give yourself, first of all, say thank you to the past you, because if you can say thank you to your past, then your future can say thank you to you now. Mind blown. And just allow that energy to flow. One thing that I think of is my first modality that I ever learned in this metaphysical sphere is astrology. When I was a little girl, I truly enjoyed horoscopes, probably too much so, and I just thought it was so cool. How do they know? And as I got older, I realized that what I was reading as, my horoscope was just my sun sign, was just one planet, and I got all these other planets, got all types of asteroids, houses, aspects, and stuff. So, as I've grown, I've learned more and more and more. But had I not been interested, had I not done the work, I wouldn't be able to share with others my knowledge. I wouldn't be able to help others easily understand things that took me years to understand. And now when I look at like planetary alignment, it's so seamless. I'm like, oh yeah, this is what that feels like. And I get such a strong sense of validation when I'm describing what I see in a person's chart to them. And they're like, yes, that's exactly what's going on. I'm like, man, that's work. Okay. That's all them years of just categorizing things. Because the one cool thing about that sticks with me forever is that I'm not good with names at all. I can easily have a very in-depth conversation with a person, know their entire life, and forget their name. But I guarantee you I won't forget your sign. Because for so many years before I really understood, that there were other planets doing other stuff in a person's natal chart, all I knew was their sun. And so in my head, I would categorize them based on their sun sign. And I would even get into the cusps too. But I would say, oh, that is a early Scorpio. That is a middle Scorpio. That is a late Scorpio. I.e., that is an October Scorpio versus a late November or mid-November Scorpio. Or my favorite sign of all to do this with is the Aries, because Aries is the first sign, the sign of the appearance, how we appear, of the youngest, age 0, that energy. And a March Aries versus an April Aries, I don't know. The traditional ruler of Aries, of course, is Mars, but they're on two different planets, okay? 2 different planets. I deeply love Aries, so much so. Just the energy is just perfect. Perfect energy. And then and those are for April Aries. And then the March Aries, I'd be like, are y'all the same people? Because there's a little bit of that Pisces and Aries merging together. But I digress. Basically, I was just, do you see how I'm sharing how excited I am for some stuff I learned many years ago? Yes, and now I'm like, dang, I didn't realize how having this experience would help me. Having this experience would be such a wealth of information. And on top of that, side note, it's very interesting what I actually went to school for. I went to college for initially psychology because I wanted to be a therapist, and then I realized I didn't have to listen to people's problems all day, and then I realized that doing energy healing, I end up listening to people's problems all day. That's okay. But I had majored in religious studies, but then I also I majored in psychology, but then I also majored in religious studies. So I went through and had the opportunity to learn various religions, various traditions, and learned it from the perspective of not being proselytized to, not being, and someone not, expecting me to be a part of it, being able to learn the history, the sociology, the anthropology of a religion. And to this day, the only reason why I'm able to facilitate this space is because I've had all that training. If I didn't have all that training, I feel like I would probably navigate this space in a little bit different. And that's why I always lead with education. I lead with having the conversations. I lead with the political conversations, because what I did way back when everybody was like, and myself included, like, what am I going to do with a religious studies degree? Now it's looking pretty good. Now it's really looking pretty good. It's like, yes, I put in that work, and I did it honestly because I loved it. And I learned things I never knew about. And I reinforced some things that I did know about. But it was a part of that process, to get that. And it took me 5 years in undergrad because of that major, that I had to get in all the credits to be able to do that. So nowadays, looking pretty good, y'all. So basically, I'm saying that to say, take a moment to reflect in the past, okay? And know that what you're doing today is going to set the future. Mind you, we're a community together. I would not be here had I not made those decisions. You are in the same position right now, and you can do it. You can do it. So as we start off with a prayer. It is not a religious prayer, just a prayer to connect us to community and to the collective experience and root us in our individual healing experience. So, do I have your permission to say a prayer? Because consent matters. Okay. Dear Mother, Father, God, and all for the highest vibrational good, please connect us to the Reiki Masters, the Ascended Masters, Master Jesus, Master Buddha, Master Kutumi, Yamonja, Oshun, Mawu, and all the Taras. Please connect us to the Archangel Spirit, God, Spirit, animals, our lineage, and all for our highest vibrational good only, rooting us down in our individual healing experience and bringing us forth as a community. I say all of this in the name of I Am, Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. So first and foremost, let's clear and cleanse out that energy. Let me see what I got for you. I think I got some spray. I got a couple little bits of spray here, and sprayed it to cleanse you out some. So today's message of building strength and courage is one that is you can only do by doing. We want, or it would be cool to be able to build up that strength and that endurance and that courage beforehand, and then jump in, and then everything is perfect. But that's not real life. Real life is you learn by doing. Beautiful. You learn by doing. You learn by allowing yourself to be in the thick of it. You learn by being patient to the process. You learn by showing up and showing out and just doing what you can. And I talked about this briefly about lineage, ancestor. We're going to do ancestor work later on this week as well. But looking at our lineage and our ancestors, and I feel very confident that most of us come from someone who had to face something to get here today, right? Or to allow you to be here today. And here it is, you may not even notice the luxury that you have because of the sacrifice or the resilience or the sheer will of an ancestor or a lineage of a heritage. And here it is, you can show up each and every day by paying it forward. Number one, by showing up for yourself, okay? And also knowing that showing up for yourself means showing up for others. Here, let me explain this to you. When I live for my best self, when I expect more for myself, when I achieve, when I do these things, I unconsciously unlock that within other people. So what that means is that just by who you are, you free other people. Because you're showing up for yourself, because you're there, because you're able to share this message of courage and strength. And strength comes in many forms, and it depends on the person. Sometimes strength is I'm able to get through a lot of trials, a lot of obstacles. Sometimes strength is this really tough thing happened to me, this devastating thing happened to me, and I found my way to the other side. Sometimes strength is I had to learn how to say no. I was doing so much and I need to stop and listen. Strength is different. It's different on the situation. It's different based off of the person. It's just different, and I think that is okay. I think it's okay for all these things to be as different as it needs to be, and still collect and have these moments of strength. So just going over the chakra system here, just feeling how things are going, checking in with you. How are you all doing? I know we have been whispering for like 5 months. So for our soft-spoken fans out there, this one is for you. This one's dedicated to you. So just putting that blessing over you from the front, the back to the side, your side body, and moving through the aura field. And just, I'm going to play, if I can, with your energy a little bit, just swaying it in one direction and the other, giving you the opportunity to find a freedom here, to not feel so rigid, or also to feel like you can better associate with yourself, to connect with yourself in this energy. Good job. You're doing a fantastic job, by the way. Okay. Just roll that through left and right. Left and right. Now I want you to think of one thing that you were particularly courageous about. It could have happened at any time in your life. You could say, when I was in the 3rd grade, I did this thing and I think it's so amazing. Okay, that's cool. I mean, who am I to tell you? Because we are constantly learning. Our soul is like always like a child, like learning, never really at that place yet, but learning forever and indefinitely. And to that, I want to share with you the message of strength. So think about that thing. You can close your eyes if you want to. That's up to you. And connect in with that. It can be a memory. You can feel it. You can feel that moment of strength. If it's something that maybe is a tougher memory, you can disassociate yourself and kind of look down on the lesson. But, whatever you choose, that's on you. And see this place of courage, this place of wisdom. Look at yourself. What was your energy at that time that allowed you to exhibit that much strength? Connect in with that there. What was it there, huh? What were you going through in life? What made that moment extra special, that you were able to tap into something that you wouldn't typically be able to tap into? What is it about those times? What is it? Now, as you have that moment that you were thinking of strength, I now want you to think of courage. What was that thing that you were particularly courageous about? You did it. Or vice versa. I actually can't remember if I started with courage or strength. Doesn't matter. Vice versa. Just getting to the other side. What is one of those things that really exhibited those qualities in your life and you're like, wow, can't believe I did that. I'm pretty badass. Yes, you can do it. You've got this. You are so amazing in that you can do all of those things. So just feel that in. And I want you to feel it in your core, feel it in your body, feel it in your shoulders, feel it in your neck, feel it in your head, down the chakra system, the front and back body, the sides, the waist, the legs. Okay? Feel it everywhere. Feel it on the internal part, those feelings of emotions, thoughts, beliefs. Feel it to the core of you. Feel it in your DNA, okay? And then allow that energy to come back out. Feel it in that space around you, your boundaries, those beautiful layers between you and the rest of us that, you allow the right people to come in and out, and you keep the wrong people out. having all of that energy around you, having your home be a representation of that energy, allowing your friendship circles, your family, all of it to be a representation of that energy, just to fill yourself with the greatest amount of strength and courage. Fill it up from your toes as if your feet were rooting down into the ground, sucking up the nutrients from the soil, and fill it from the crown of your head, opening up as if God, universe, source, whatever it is you want to call it, that's your business. If that energy is bringing this divine energy all the way to the crown, all the way down. So you're receiving energy in both a very physical way as well as an energetic way. And just allowing this energy to spiral and swirl between each other and move to the limbs, the nervous system, the endocrine system, any organs, regulating entities and systems within the body. Just feel it. Let it pump in and out. Courage and strength, courage and strength. Until it culminates in the heart, where it grows really strong. And you have there that sense of bravery, that sense of resilience, that sense of showing up for yourself no matter what. That sense of opportunity. There is so much opportunity in things that we would consider like, oh, that's not ideal. Just think of, when people rehab properties. Essentially, you're looking at an ideal home and you're putting in the legwork to make it an ideal home, and people will pay a premium for that. When people come and buy businesses, buy failing businesses, they see the opportunity there. Oh, you know what? This business didn't work out because it just had bad admin. So if we get some more organizational or process documentation, it's going to be okay. Boom. And here it is. You put in that effort that caused a whole business not to work out, but you're like, I'm going to do it, and there's opportunity. Even opportunity around you. Oh man, I didn't get that promotion, or I didn't get that opportunity, I didn't get that job interview. Well, you never know. Something bigger might be out there. You're over here, trying to get coins, and you got some dollar bills, y'all, over here, and you just don't know it yet, because the universe is creating an opportunity, an environment to usher you into that next thing, that next chapter, all of that stuff. So just be patient and be bold and be courageous and be creative. Have all of that energy swirling inside of you. So I'm going to work on the aura a little bit. I just want to check in with you. How are you? How have you been? How are you at this point, up to this point? Just releasing, relaxing, and letting it go. Releasing, relaxing, and letting it go. Releasing, relaxing, and letting it go. Ashe, ashe, ashe. What beautiful energy. And like I say, being a lifelong student means you're always learning, you're always connected. And look, that is what it's about when you're making goals. You want to reach the goal, but really the truth of the blessing is that you learned something. I was in a I'm gonna say irritating situation where I'm having to do a lot of stuff. I'm like, oh, I gotta do this thing to get this out. Long story short, trying to move out of my home because it is just not hospitable anymore for me and my family. And so having to just cross the T's and dot the I's and do all of this stuff. And I'm like, why is this happening? If this is not for us, it's not healthy for us. Why are we here? And I'm like, is this happening to me or is this happening for me? And that was something that I had to run back a couple of times. Is this happening to me or happening for me? Because if it's happening to me, then I'm just this victim and I'm just this person who is reactionary. But if it's happening for me, I am this person who is proactive, this person who, can say, oh, there's a better home, a more abundant place, something that I already found, by the way. When I get to it, I get to it. There's a better space for us, for my family, for this energy, that looking at it from that perspective as it's happening, helping me and happening for me, also leverages things, because when there's more opposition against you, that thing or whatever, the energy is, starts to build up. And where you release and relieve that pressure matters. If you've learned anything today, I learned this from my homeboy the other day. Never argue with middle management. Meaning, if you want something done specifically for your nonstop November goal, go high. Okay, you might want to play it small. You might want to, knock on a couple doors, and someone has 1,000 other people they gotta attend to, and here it is. You're like, oh, can you give me a shot? Risk it. Tap on those top doors. Have you ever seen The Pursuit of Happiness, where he is like, Tag, if I get through these numbers, what's the point? I'm gonna start reaching out to executives. Do that. Start reaching out to the highest level and do what you need to do. Reach out to, really reach for that goal, reach for that access, because that's where you can release that pressure that has been building up and make it someone else's problem, but someone who has, a power to do something. Look, I'm giving you the game, okay? I'm giving you the game in a way that I got the game. You can use that the same way at work, at trying to advocate for something. You want to take something that you consider your problem and make it someone else's problem who has access. Do not think for a second that it's one of those things where ooh, if I go too high, I'm going to get in trouble. That's why you got to put separate people who will hold each other accountable. Maybe people from your job, people from their peers who could potentially hold themselves accountable, things like that. 3 or 4 people. Hello, spitting game, spitting truth. But just saying all that to say is that if you are going to make this November goal happen, you got to get to it, okay? You got to make it happen. You cannot be afraid to put yourself out there, because what's the worst that can happen? Nothing. Sometimes I know for myself, the worst that I fear is someone saying no. I don't even fear there's going to be some negative repercussions. I just don't want someone to tell me no, because I've given them that power to think that, or I'm giving them that power in my head to think that, oh, if someone says no to me, that means something. It doesn't mean a daggone thing. Just move to somebody else. Move on to someone else and keep it going. Keep it going. Keep that energy going. And sometimes when you start shooting your feelers out there, boop, 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 right? Then the answer pops up somewhere else, but you had to put that energy out through your effort. Look, I'm telling you how to grind it. I'm telling you how to hustle it out to get where we need to go. We're going to make it. We're going to get to the other side. There's this beauty surrounding you, and it is all about courage and strength. So family, I hope you enjoyed this session today. Very, very informative about courage and strength, but really a pep talk so that you know that you can make this November goal happen. Use the comment section to give updates, to, give any type of anything that you need right now during this time. And it is truly appreciated to, big somebody up in the comments, to share, to say you got this, you can do this, and all of that energy too, because we're going to do something amazing in November, and I actually can't wait until December to see, what happens in November. And if you've made it all the way to the end of the video, you get a tidbit of information. If you subscribed last year around this time, you would know that there was a giveaway in December. And guess what? There's going to be another giveaway. So your girl is putting it together right now, but this is the first official announcement. But I haven't said anything yet. So okay, let's get it on and popping. But because I do say a prayer, and I know the healing associated with prayer and religion and things like that, and the healing of needing to be healed from religious experiences that weren't positive, I always ask for consent, because consent matters. So, do I have your permission to say a prayer? Okay. Dear Mother, Father God, and all for the highest vibrational good. Please connect us to the Reiki Masters, the Ascended Masters, Master Jesus, Master Buddha, Master Kutumi, Yamonja, Oshun, Mawu, and all the Taurus. Please connect us to the archangels, the ancestors, our lineage, and all for our highest vibrational good only, rooting us down in our individual healing experience and bringing us forth as a community. I say all of this in the name of I am. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. So just a prayer to connect us, to balance us. So as we change your frequency here, I want you to just breathe on your own. And every time you exhale, I want you to release something that is taking up space, that is no longer serving you, and let it go. Let that shit go, boo. Let it go, okay? Old you, old life, it's time to transition. It's time to move forward. It's time to be one with what is for you. And if that's a person, let that motherfucker go, okay? If it's an environment, make new plans. If it's a trauma or a memory, if you have access to therapists, support systems, people around you, use it. If you just have yourself, do what you gotta do. You need to do a spell, you need to do a petition, you need to do a mantra, you need to do a prayer, do whatever you need to do to release that and let it go. And changing the frequency of you really depends on, number one, you being able to be receptive that you deserve more. Because lower frequency, or I was going to say lower vibrational experiences, typically start because the person begins to accept a lower vibrational reality. And if you want to be released from that, you have to expect more for yourself. You have to be open to more for yourself. And you can only accept more for yourself. So when people treat you lower, when an environment doesn't no longer serves you in a light, loving, healing way, let it go and move forward. You know, you don't need to stay there and punish yourself. You don't need to stay there because you love someone else and you want to, you know, show them how much you love them by sacrificing. You don't need to do none of that. You can let it go. So that's one aspect. The second aspect is living in a space of gratitude. And how do you live in a space of gratitude? It is quite simply just accept yourself. Accept yourself for who you are. Accept yourself for this life. Accept yourself for the quirky things that you love, for the path you're on, for maybe not knowing everything, or maybe like really liking something that you feel very secure about and other people don't. Who cares? If you feel like you are in love with life, that is the true healing. That is the true way to change your frequency, to accept yourself. I don't give a fuck, okay? If somebody is telling you, well, you need to do this or you need to do that to make me feel comfortable, who cares? You want to look over your life and know that you did everything that was in line with your spirit, your energy, your collective mission, the collective consciousness of why you had incarnated in this experience. You want to know when you look back on that life that you did everything you needed to do. And the best thing you can do, the most brave and loving thing you can do for yourself, is to stand up for yourself and stand up for your path. Some people won't get it and they can take the boot in their butt, okay? And get on out. Because if you're not on this train, you can leave. And you got to be prepared to be able to do it on your own. You got to be prepared to have that path on your own, to be the only person, or to open your heart up to like-minded people. You know, sometimes you might know about communities, but you're nervous. Will they accept me? Or how will people think if I'm associated with them? Fuck that. Okay, I know I'm doing a lot of cursing, which in real life, I actually curse a lot. But I usually try to curse to joke. Anyway, I don't know. Anyway, I'm keeping it real, okay? Bringing super auntie vibes. I have 7 nieces and nephew. My oldest nephew is 18, And I know I'm showing my age. My oldest nephew is 18, and my youngest niece is 7. And I feel like when I approach them, I just, tell them, like, kids love security. So I just tell them what they need to do. I'll be like, okay, you're going to do this. Like, I give them structure, but I also give them the freedom to do whatever they want to do. Like, we're going to do this today. We're going to do that today. Da, 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 blah, 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 blah. I'm basically saying the same thing to you, which is giving these auntie vibes. So I guess that's probably what they get all the time. But I'm saying the same thing to you, which is sometimes you just got to do you, boo. Sometimes you just got to live your life the way that you need to live your life. Sometimes you just got to be happy with the life that you have with who you are. And who you are can change. You can learn some new stuff. You can, explore different stuff. You don't have to have every answer, but you can stop this war against yourself. Because I think, and this is my theory, if people really stopped waging wars on themselves, I think that we would see less dissonance in the world. Why? Because a lot of people project, and those projections snowball. They become collective projections. And then we get into these horrible things that we've seen in the human experience, human existence. And if we all just start with owning our own shit, I really think that that's where healing comes. Because this is what I learned, especially watching everything that has been going on with the dialogue of police brutality and things like that. In the beginning, around March, when people were really talking about and very vocal about systemic racism and police brutality and things like that, marginalized identity, intersections and things like that, there were a lot of people who were not equipped to navigate. Well, where does that leave me? If I'm a privileged identity, or if I'm being privileged in a certain place or situation, where does that leave me? Because it is not my intention to hurt, but I am unaware of how the privileges that I have are hurting someone else, or that I'm unaware that I have a privilege that someone else doesn't have. That's why I'm communicating in this kind of way. I think just owning the fact that there's a duality. People of color already know what I'm talking about, or people who are marginalized. If you have some type of difference, some type of ability or able-bodiedness difference, see this in the LGBTQIA community. We see this in all kinds of different ways, just various differences. If you have been othered in a certain way before, you will probably have a perspective, especially if you have multiple things on top of that too. You will probably have this code switching that happens, that you had to learn from an early age, that your existence may not be what is mainstream popular culture. And if you never had to have that, then you're really lucky. And it might be a little bit harder to dismantle that reality that you've had. But I say all of these things to say that reality, that existence, people really struggled with confronting the fact that horrible shit happens, and a privilege that they have is a part of the reason why horrible shit happens. And you just saw people freaking out in different ways. Instead of it being about how can we make systemic change, it was more about like fragile feelings, okay? to just be nice about it. Fragile feelings, okay? But really, if a person just owns that, if they can stand in it and say, wow, it's hard to hear that this suffering happens and I am privileged in it. I'm benefiting from a system. But you know what? I'm not going to make it about myself. I'm going to educate myself. I'm going to learn. I'm going to do the soul work so that I don't repeat these things. And I'm going to take it a day at a time. Boom. That's simple. Okay? Boom. It really is like that. Whenever I hear a comment of someone bringing something up that usually if someone's mean, I don't really care. I'm not going to say what I was going to say. I'm just going to say, I don't really care. Or if someone is just being like, whatever, I don't care. Or if they're being like religious in a way of like, please, like, know that like trying to like force religion, like a specific religion. Also, I'm just like, okay, I don't, whatever. But when people reach out to me and say like, hey, when you use the term smudging, or you use Palo Santo, or you use white sage, that impacts me as, an indigenous person of the Americas, or that impacts me by the use of this term by someone of a different lineage. And when I hear those things, I can quickly see how others would be like, oh my gosh, no, they're attacking me. I don't feel that way. I feel grateful. How am I going to be exposed to new things and learn new things? I'm just giving y'all a roadmap to use. How am I going to have an opportunity to bring forth new herbs, which we've been using? We've been getting down with cinnamon. How am I going to know about the sustainability of crystals being the new blood diamonds, if people don't bring it up, if we don't have this conversation? And I think a lot of times people, maybe they're a little bit aggressive on how they deliver a message like, you're trash, you do this, you're horrible. These crystals are horrible, but you also have to be strong enough to receive the message and not take it personal. And I say that to say that if we approach life like that, in whatever comes up, whether you're pursuing a passion that you really, really love, or you're in a relationship and you want to work through it, or you have a family situation, a friendship situation, your own health, if you can face it in a objective but nurturing way, your life will literally change. Why? Because every time someone has said something to me, and it happens on TikTok too, I'm using this example of the Palo Santo, and the white sage, I have said, thank you. I appreciate you commenting this, and I think it opens up a conversation for us to talk about cultural appropriation and sustainability, so that we can, as we're coming to relax, as we're, coming to, not really have to think about these things, we can still use these platforms and these communities to talk about things that matter, to talk about various histories, to talk about all of these things. And sometimes it comes up by, doing something that someone, wants to educate on, or having an open space, or having people from similar traditions say, no, I don't necessarily feel that way, or I do feel that way, or, all of these things. It's just so important. And when I'm talking about changing your frequency, I'm saying, sorry, I got so into the message. I'm saying that you have to be able to be strong enough to hear the messages that are coming to you from spirit guides, source, angels, ancestors, universe around you, a loving friend, your own self, without breaking down, without feeling like, oh my gosh, someone is like, it's hard. I want things to be so easy, or I don't want any dissonance. I'm already afraid. I feel like Dave Chappelle said it best. He was like, people walking around like politicians. I don't want to make mistakes in front of people. Make mistakes in front of people. Transform. Who cares if somebody brings it up, 10 years later? Use that as a healing, or use that as a platform to speak the truth. Use that as a platform to do vibrational good. Because think about it. Any mistake you've ever made, okay, whatever it is, or something that you feel like, oh, I can't believe I used to think like that back in the day. Whatever that is, then becomes a teachable platform. There are some people who will come out and be like, oh, I don't like that person because back in the day they said X, Y, and Z. All you got to do is own it and say, I said that, or I did that. And you know what? This is what I learned. And I don't want to deviate from the true beauty of what was coming up in this message. So we can make it be about me, or we can really divert back into the original message. So let me just name it. if you are a white person and you have struggled with trying to understand how can I be there to help those who have been marginalized and things like that, all you have to do is just like acknowledge the fact that white privilege exists. Okay, step number one, you go out, you do education, you pay attention like, oh, okay, is this cultural appropriation if I do this or if I do that? And just acknowledge the experience that is happening when someone else says that, and leverage your privilege to help other people. If you are a man and you know that you have a privilege in this world to walk around in spaces, you may not, if you're one of those people that don't have to think about like walking down the block and think about how someone could victimize you, or being able to travel abroad without really thinking about how someone could victimize you. If you are a part of someone who is not in the LGBTQIA community, someone who gets to benefit from, just heteronormative standards, just acknowledge it. Acknowledge, I benefit from this system. It takes nothing away from me to have, same-sex marriage, or, to have various federal rights and federal protections. It takes nothing away from me. Able-bodiedness, people who go through life and have to adjust so much to things that people who don't have that, whether it be visible or invisible or not visible things, invisible, sorry, trigger, not invisible, but visible or non-visible things, that they have to do so much just to enjoy the certain luxuries. If you have, being a U.S. citizen, the ability for U.S. people to travel around the world so seamlessly, and there are people in various countries who are seeking asylum, in the U.S. or some other place, and just the amount of freedom that a person can have just being from a certain, country, and the amount of xenophobia that happened. I use the example of the way that the U.S. changed post 9/11. The way that Muslim Americans were treated here in the U.S., no excuse. No excuse. The amount of xenophobia that was allowed to happen, no excuse. No excuse. And people not even understanding, just people of Middle Eastern descent just being discriminated against. And it was just literally like overnight. So that aspect of xenophobic behavior, no excuse at all. If we can just show up each and every day and say, you know what, whatever that is, whatever privilege or whatever, systemically limited factors I have, I'm going to show up each and every day, and I'm going to leverage my privilege to give a space to others so they can speak. And I'm going to find courage in these things, or these systemic, oppressed, marginalized identities that I have, to speak up for myself. And we all have a combination of both of them within ourselves. So it's learning how to navigate those spaces. So instead of feeling like you need to be perfect and feeling like you need to have positive validation every second of the day, be courageous and say, I'm going to do it because it's the right thing to do. I don't care what anybody says. I'm going to help in the way that I can help. I'm going to go as slow as I need to and really have substantial change and substantial movement, because when you conquer that inside of you, the rest of life changes. The rest of the world changes. That is how you change your frequency, by conquering you each and every day, these little things that come up each and every day. I believe, and this is just me thinking from the big picture, I truly believe that the moment that we can come together and accept everyone for whatever way that you want to connect with God, for whomever you are, whatever, differences or things, when we can get past that as a species, I honestly don't think that we will have religion in the same way. And the reason why is because I think we will be so connected to each other. We will be so loving. These wisdom traditions, these religious traditions are reminding us of something that we constantly fall short of. And if we can get there as a species, you know, they're always there for us to be able to use, but we're actually living out what we need to live. And it doesn't mean we live in a perfect world. There will still be obstacles, but it means that we can actually be here for each other. Can you imagine if we were able to you know, utilize all of this food? We have various food systems to feed everyone. Can you imagine if we got everyone access to adequate things? Can you imagine all of these things? Can you? You know, the fact that there could be more people who are educated. Those are more people who will go out and, you know, research various diseases in various things. We'll probably be happier and we may not have as much occurrence of disease. So here it is. We are, as a collective, that if we want to change the frequency of this environment, this world, we have to change ourselves. And that comes with just showing up in the space as you are and not being afraid to do so. And I promised that I would pull a card. So I just scored this deck. I don't know if you can see it. It is a Lenormand deck. And I think I'm going to just pull one card from this. And it's called the Black Gold Lenormand. I scored it on Kickstarter. Lovely, lovely, lovely deck. Super powerful. And I'm just going to pull one card because I think it's a wonderful way to channel systemic messages here. Lovely, lovely, lovely. And it's by Grandma's Baby. And it's called the Black Gold Lenormand. Love it. Sis came through. I never seen someone do a Kickstarter and just be so efficient. But here's the message that comes out today. And I'm going to focus this. And this is the Moon card. So I'm going to give you a moment just to look at that. Okay? I'm going to see this. And it says, from Negro in Greenville, Mississippi, Dorothy Lang, retrieved from the Library of Congress. But really the moon. So know that what you do by night comes to day, comes to fruition, comes to life. Okay? So if you really want to change the world, you really want to change this life, this wonderful connection we have, live your highest self when no one is looking. Show up then. And that's how we truly can change. So go ahead and just sit back. Relax. I'm just going to start to pull away. Just starting to pull away these experiences. Sometimes they live deep in the subconscious. And they just need a little help removing it and letting it go. In yoga, specifically Virabhadrasana 2 or Warrior 2, you know, when you're out, you got your arms out. I got a wall right here, but you got your arms out. One in front, one behind you. You're standing sturdy in your warrior pose. If you notice that your body naturally drifts to the front hand, that's typically a sign of, or could indicate, you know, besides just the fact we're all trying to balance, right? But it could indicate anxiety because you're dwelling too much in the future. You're becoming anxious about the things that are not here yet and things you can't control. Now, if you find yourself being pulled by the arm behind you, that could be an indication that you are feeling stuck in the past, that you can't move forward. You're worried about things that have already happened. And the best place to be is right in the middle, living in the present moment. Because we learn from our past In fact, they are our greatest tools. There's so many difficult, traumatic experiences that I've had that had I not had that, I would not be as mindful in the future. Now, that's not something I'm walking around happy to be traumatized. It's just I had to come to a space of peace within myself. And so those become our greatest tools. And we are a co-creator of the future. So in this present moment, just being grateful and filled with a gratitude as if the future has already happened. Thank you for bringing, X, Y, and Z in the future as if it has already happened, and living and truly enjoying in this space. So let's just remove that first layer of just BS that we feel like people just put on us, whether you have to wear a facade or something that makes it difficult for you to just step up and just feel like you can be yourself without feeling this irrational, just unknown sense of attack or exposure or vulnerability. Let's just work on moving that out. And you can practice this in layers and steps. Most importantly, you should always feel safe, so you should never force yourself beyond a period or be in a new position that you don't feel comfortable with. You can challenge yourself, but you have to determine what that level is. And I'll just work on clearing you out, okay? Okay. Just doing some Reiki symbols for protection. So kind of like opening up your gateway here. Just see on inside, okay? Okay, let's see. Get us a little sage. When it popping. Come on. Okay. So we're gonna rub this all around you, because I want you to feel as comfortable as possible. And sometimes that just means having the right environment to do so. A little bit of that, ain't nothing wrong with that, hello. This smells good. So starting with the anxiety, I want you to feel strength in your hands, feel strength in your shoulders, strength in your head, and I want you to start to pull the energy down to your root chakra. Sometimes in anxiety you have analysis paralysis where you get stuck ruminating or just thinking over and over the same thoughts that make you feel paralyzed. So let's go ahead and bring that down to your root chakra. A gesture of manifesting. You don't need the 10,000 thoughts you had. We're going to take one and we're going to bring it into life, because you only need one. You're so amazing. You come up with so many ideas and you don't know where to start, but just use one and you don't get it wrong. There's no perfect answer. The course is set in front. You just literally have to open the door. Who cares how you open it, Okay. Bringing that down, 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 bringing that down. Inhale, top of the breath. Exhale, just feel a sinking of this energy. Let it start in your heart to be purified there. And continue to let it flow all the way down to your root and bring it past your root to your toes, and just feel a strength in your toes as if your feet could warm up, a grounding, a sensation that you're going to take root into the center of the earth, because sometimes you just need that grounding to make you feel secure. You are secure. You're going to be okay. It's going to work out. Everything's going to be good, okay? So I'm going to just place my hand on your feet. Breathe in, exhale. Just forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for anything that you are just blaming yourself for. half the stuff you're blaming yourself for, I don't even think you need to. But just forgive yourself. And let go of the need to have someone else in the storyline. I'm not even going to tell you to forgive other people. That's a whole nother conversation. I'm just saying, remove these people from the storyline. Stop giving them power. Stop giving away your power here. Remove them. Just focus on yourself in this moment. Okay, beautiful. And going to your third eye. I want you to think about one action you can take that will help ease the anxiety. I don't care if it's a big or small action, it doesn't matter. Just think of one action. As soon as you got it, okay, pull it down, bring it to your feet, anchor it in. Start to feel it in your body, feel it in your legs, your arms, your front, back, side, your head, all around you, and your heart, and your thoughts, your beliefs, all that, even just resonating around you, feeling that there. Trust yourself, because sometimes not trusting ourselves can make us want to overthink things over and over again. Just trust yourself, you're okay. Okay. Just dusting your shoulders off. Now, for those, or if you've ever experienced depression, which is a deep, heavy feeling, we're actually going to take you the opposite way. We're going to bring you up. So we're going to take you here, whereas instead of standing firm with your feet, it's almost like lying on the ground and feeling too afraid to stand up to assert yourself energetically. So we're going to go to the feet, and we're going to take the energy and send it up, sending it all the way to the crown, opening the crown and allowing this beautiful loving light to come in. I think you already know what you want, but just having the motivation to do it becomes an issue. Continue to breathe here. Quick story time. As I work on you, my mom suffered from depression and anxiety for a long, long time. And I remember how it made me feel growing up to just watch her. I think that she made a lot of poor choices because of how sad she was. But she had all of these big dreams and big ideas and came up with big ideas, and she had a big personality. But I often saw how the depression made her just took all the motivation away. And it's from a lifetime full of trauma, honestly, and feeling overwhelmed by, new things, taking initiative, because there's a fear that that trauma that was experienced when you're younger will pop up in this thing that you like. So it's this perpetual cycle going on and on. And to that I will say, take your time, but trust yourself. You might be afraid and interpreting things as scary, when in fact, it's kind of putting you out there, just giving you an opportunity to kind of grow and expand. And when you put yourself out there more, yes, you're out there more for critiques, but deal with that as it comes. Don't spend all your time thinking about the what ifs of the bad stuff that'll happen. Fuck it, let the shit happen, okay? Just let it happen, and you better duck and dodge. But don't not do something because you're too afraid, especially since you have a gift to share, or gifts, or just needing to be present in so many ways. Okay, moving the energy up. I'm gonna straight up just pull it up and clear that stuff up there and let that go. Okay. breathing it up into your shoulders, top of your head, front body, back body. How do you feel? Okay. Some more with the aura a little bit. I want you to reintroduce yourself to yourself. To connect with yourself. To love yourself and to love on yourself, okay? And most importantly, I need you to accept yourself 100% as you are. Even if you want to make changes, internal, external, that's your business and you're right. But if you ever really wanted to genuinely make a change about anything in your life, it comes with 100% accepting yourself as you are now. And some people believe, well, if I accept myself as I am now, why would I be motivated to make a change? No. If you accept yourself as you are now, when you stumble or when challenges come up, you're more forgiving of yourself because you love yourself as you are. And that is the most important thing about it. I mean, anything, like whether that is you want to change your financial state, you want to change your health state, whether that is actual nutrition on how the body works, or whether that is you want to strengthen your muscles and be able to, lift heavier, or you want to lose weight. It's your choice, whatever it is. That's not my business to tell you what you should and what you shouldn't. And I think it's empowering to know that whatever standards you set for yourself, they do not have to be conventional beauty. They do not have to be the standards that you see on the TV and people just losing their minds to look like this, unrealistic expectation of beauty. Let them be yours, and let whatever it is, whether it's in line or it's not, let them be yours. And empower yourself and love yourself as you are now along the way. And allow yourself to change your mind too. That's important too. I want you to be so compassionate and so understanding of yourself. Not to see yourself as a victim, but to see someone who deserves to, try different things, to make a couple of mistakes, to explore, to feel empowered, to assert themselves, to take a break, to change their mind, to do all of those things. The world isn't happening to you. You are co-creating the world you want, and I'm giving you that power back so that you really just hold those reins and make choices every day that assert your power, okay? Well, family, I hope you enjoyed this healing session for disconnecting with anxiety and depression. I want you to feel just like better, like just feeling good. I'm feeling Mercury coming up because my words are being my words are like so yeah, I'm starting to feel it a little bit, but I'm gonna get the point across. I'm gonna put a couple of nods and head shakes or whatever, and soft spoken videos are requested videos, and Reiki symbol is also requested videos. So leave a comment in the comment section and tell me, let your girl know what you want, okay? Because I cannot read your mind. I can feel how you feel, but I'm not going to read your mind. You can tell me. You can tell me, but just tell me whatever it is that you want to see, and I will go ahead and make that video for you. So let's go ahead and get into it, and let me know if you're enjoying these up close videos. Always testing new things out, and just let me know how it goes. So let's get started. And so we start out the practice with a prayer. It is a prayer connection, a prayer for rooting us down, anchoring us down into our individual healing experience and connecting that experience with others as well. And because consent matters, do I have your permission to say a prayer? Okay. Sounds good? Let's get into it. Dear Mother, Father, God, and all for the highest vibrational good, please connect us to the Reiki Masters, the Ascendant Masters, Master Jesus, Master Buddha, Master Katumi, Yamonja, Oshun, Mawu, and all the Taras. Please connect us to the archangels, spirit guides, spirit animals, and our lineage, and all for our highest vibrational good only, rooting us down in our individual healing experience, connecting us as a community, rooting us down in our healing, and bringing us up into the light to manifest the life we want. And I say all of this in the name of light and peace. I am Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. and so it will be. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna do a little different this time. I'm gonna start at your lowest chakra, and I'm gonna keep one hand up, one hand on the lower chakra, and I'm gonna go ahead and do the symbols. I'm right-handed, so let me switch hands. I'm gonna go ahead and do the symbols. I'm gonna do some whispering too. Okay. Before I jump into that, just want to bring balance into our energy. So if we could all just take 3 deep breaths. Inhale, exhale. 2 more, friends. Inhale, exhale. 1 more breath, make it count, y'all. Inhale, exhale. I feel good. I can do it now. So I'm going down and I'm going to look into your chakra, looking into your deepest roots, seeing where it goes, and I'm going to go in and draw the symbol. I'm just going to go in and draw the symbol. So I'm just going to take my hands and just rooting out and rooting down those roots, kind of like combing them out, you know, just allowing you to see your fullest path to connection, your fullest in divine path and to source. Working with the aura around you as well. Okay. And I'm going to do some more symbols down here in your root. But just wanting you to be as relaxed as possible, friend. Just be as relaxed, as cool and calm and collected as possible as we go through the healing experience. Y'all, I'm getting like delusional. Okay, back to the healing. Back to our regularly scheduled programming. So going into the roots here. And for me, I'm always trying to raise your vibration. So if I can make you smile and make you laugh, I'm going to do it, because you make the healing easier on me. The happier you are, the easier the healing is. So, you know, cheap shots, I like to throw in, like, you know, laughter and jokes and make fun of myself, just so you know it's an easy place to be in. Okay, just come and be yourself. You know, post your comments, just post for the highest vibrational good so that we all feel good. Back to the healing. I promise you, I'm gonna heal you. Okay. I'm gonna go in now and I'm gonna do another symbol in that root area. I'm going to make the symbols a little bit bigger this time. Okay. I'm going to take your energy and I'm going to root it down, placing my hands on your feet. And when I tell you to exhale, I want you to shoot that energy down to the center of the earth. Inhale, hands on my feet, exhale. release and lower and letting that go into the center of the earth, rooting it down and allowing that energy to be balanced out. So if you're feeling any kind of like funky dunky energy right now, send it to the center of the earth. It will balance it out, and it will take that energy and move it onto its next evolutionary path, so it can actually be useful instead of it just irritating you. Okay. I'm gonna clear you out right there. Clear you out. Clear you out. I'm gonna clear you out right there. Now, bringing this energy up into the sacral. You know what? I'm gonna take it to the crown. We're gonna connect to God, okay? Okay. Okay. Just going above your head. You have a very beautiful aura. I'm enjoying this energy around you. Noticing it in the lowers first, but just beaming so bright and so diligently. I'm getting yellows a little bit, blue, lavenders, different kinds of colors. And your aura expresses different kinds of things as well. Purple, lavender auras express spirituality, just really how your body is going through right now. So I'm just going to scan over it and just be here. Be here, be here, be present, be loving as I love to be towards you. Okay. And while I'm working on your crown, I just want to say thank you for being a part of the community. You are so wonderful and so spectacular, and I appreciate you being here, you sharing your experience, and just want to send the greatest amount of peace and love and gratitude out. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do some symbols now. I'm feeling this emotional release from you. I'm feeling like you no longer have to be tied to things. Old feelings is what's coming up. So definitely release that, sending that all the way down. And I'm going to connect you to God, universe, source as well, going through your higher self too. Okay. Sending you all the way up. Now feeling that connection to God, it can be a star, a planet, it can be God, whatever it is that you want to call this divine loving energy that we are all making our way back to. Connect in there. So a couple things came up right now, and it's just wanting to explain some things. Number one, I'm going to explain the chakras. We have our 7 chakras in our body, from our root all the way to our sacral. And in different teachings and different understandings, there's more chakras. One very basic understanding is that all of the chakras, from our first chakra, which is our root, all the way back, it's an infinite amount of number. And what it is your connection to God. So you take your chakra now all the way to that end result, which is God. So of course God can be infinite, and the chakras can be infinite as well. And in other schools of thoughts, there are different aspects of chakras. So you'll have your 7 chakra, and then you'll have 2 chakras that continue to hover above you, 2 more chakra that continue to hover below you, and different things in between. So really it's just connecting that energy, and it can also be seen as the subtle bodies, the koshas, all of these kind of different understandings of what's going on, how we view the aura. So I just wanted to kind of give that explanation of what's going on right there. Okay, sending that up. Beautiful, beautiful energy you have there, friend. And going down now, I'm going to do the third eye. Who doesn't love the third eye because you can see it? So I'm going to go to that third eye. And I'm going to be drawing a very powerful chakra, a very powerful symbol, and do some more healing there too. So just checking over it, making sure you can see very clearly, energetically, be balanced, be loving, be enough, be so beautiful that you naturally are. Okay. 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 Now I'm gonna go ahead and always wanted to be ambidextrous. Refocus. I am not. So the fact I'm doing this is pretty cool. Be balanced here, my loves, my family. Be balanced here. Be balanced. Be balanced. Be balanced. Be balanced and let your energy and your light shine as large and as big as it possibly can get. Leaving nothing back, holding nothing back. You are so beautiful, so amazing, so graceful. Allowing that to be. I'm going to take this down now to your throat. Okay. Draw another symbol on there. Thank you. And just send some blessing there to speak your truth. Now something's coming up here in the throat, and I think there's been a scenario that's happening to you in which you feel like you cannot speak your truth, but really something different is happening. Like you're feeling like, am I silencing myself? Am I not saying what I want to say? I'm not able to freely express how I feel or something like that. Like that's the energy coming from the throat. But actually what's really happening is that you have to work, I want to say humbly, but I'm going to go ahead and say in silence. So it's a period of your body to be able to work in this kind of silent mode. And so don't feel as if it's you not being able to speak your truth. Feel as though you just have to do the work without verbalizing it. Because in the end, specifically towards the end of the year, you're going to be able to speak for it, but your work itself is going to speak for itself. So your energy is just practicing what it looks like to have your work or whatever it is that you're investing your time and your energy in speak for itself, taking you out of the equation, especially with a Mercury in retrograde coming up. Don't even worry about the communication. Just continue to work on the planning. So don't feel that whatever's going on with the throat is a bad thing. It is an okay thing. Okay. Now I'm going to do a little double time. I'm going to work at the heart and the solar plexus at the same time. Warming up my hands because I really want to make sure that my qigong points are very, very ignited as I go in and really just touch that area and that aura and that energy right there. Okay. And just feeling a tingling here in your heart, feeling a tingling in your solar plexus, and just allowing those lights to kind of just beam out and shoot out and just feel like really good and feel really connected. And I want you to take your heart, connecting it all with your upper chakras. And then I want you to take your solar plexus and connect down. Okay. And this is really helping the throat. It's helping the throat feel very confident. It's helping the throat feel balanced. It's helping the throat feel like, okay, I understand. So don't get caught up in any of that throat energy right there. Okay. Beautiful. Now going down to the sacral. Feeling all of that creative energy. Y'all, I'm mad relaxed right now. I don't even think I can finish this healing because the relaxation is on another level. But I'm going to go in and do it anyway, to infuse into you some loving relaxation. So going to the front, hand to the front, hand behind you. Just feeling this ball of light just right there in your sacral, your navel chakra. Just feeling that if you're growing life, allow that life to grow and be protected. If you're healing that area in any way, whatever that is, allowing that to grow and be protective. If you're growing creativity, allow that to grow and be protected. Beautiful. And release. I'm getting this sense of releasing and letting go of any of the sacral traumas of the past. You don't have to connect with it. If nothing worked out before, it doesn't mean it's not going to work out in the future. And I think the best thing that a person should do is open up their insights for new ways. If things don't happen the way that you want, feel free to take a new route, okay? The example I'll give is for creativity or even birth. You know, if you've always tried to get pregnant or something like that and it just never worked out, understand that there are so many ways to have children. You can foster, you can adopt, you can be there for other parents in whatever way. So don't limit yourself to what it is that you thought. Expand yourself to the infinite amount of blessings, because you never know. You may have just wanted to have one kid and then you go and you be a foster parent and you're able to change so many people's lives, or an adoptive parent. Or on the reverse, if you never thought that you were going to have kids and here it is, you're having children now. Go in there and understand the beautiful blessing coming into your life, and adding an extra level of gratitude for those having children, to just be at peace and to trust the process as it happens, to have the greatest amount of faith and just peace and joy as the body carries life. For creativity and for business here, just trust yourself, try something new, take the mental anguish out of anything that you're doing there. Don't overthink it, especially going into June with retrograde energy coming up in between June and July. Do not overthink things. So be courageous. Going back into that sacral right there, and I'm going to connect you down to the root. Connect you back up to your upper chakras. And clearing you out. So I am going to seal you with the sign of the infinity, smoothing over your aura. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And release. Let it go. So I had an just super fun time. And again, this is You Choose June. So you know what that means? It means you gotta tell me what you want, what you really, really want. So tell me what I want, what I really, really want. Just kidding, but I'm not. So tell me what you want in the comment section, and I'll be so happy to do those request videos. I'm excited to see what you request. But if no one else has said it, let me go ahead and say it to you. Wash your face. Wash your face. Don't touch your face. Wash your hands and be sweet to yourself. Such love your way, and with the greatest amount of peace and blessing. I love you.